Hi guys, Bran here, and welcome to another commentary video. Today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different, and it's a question that I have had for the DBD community for quite some time. It's something I've never really understood, and for me that is, what's with the hate for slugging? In DBD, there's a lot of house rules made about the game in order to make the game more fun that people are not so inclined to follow, but people seem to think that by imposing them and getting emotional and being frustrating towards players, that they can kind of bend their will, twist their arm into playing a certain way that they enjoy. This includes no gen rushing, no farming, no camping, no tunneling. All these will likely get you in hot water with the opposing side if you try to do these inside of a game. It will likely agitate and probably get you a very mean after chat. Now, I understand that house rules are very dumb, but I can at least understand the rationale, the thinking behind why these things are frustrating, why people may react out against them. When somebody gen rushes, it's incredibly frustrating because it's essentially speedrunning the game and in fact cutting out gameplay for basically everybody that is inside the trial by speedrunning the game as quick as possible. Farming leads to tunneling, which allows the player that was actually on hook to not play the game and essentially get rooted out very quickly. Camping does the same thing, where it kind of prevents a singular player from being able to play the game, and it is especially frustrating after queue times start to grow in length, that if you waited 10 minutes for a game, that you may only play for a good 15-30 seconds, and you spend the rest of the match even being hard tunneled or just being sat at on hook. It can be incredibly frustrating to deal with those things. Now, the one tactic the community uses that I've never really understood the hate and the frustration for has been slugging. Slugging, if you don't know, is when you refuse to hook a survivor, instead deciding to leave them on the ground instead of hooking them. There's many benefits to doing this. A second survivor now has to come off a gen or whatever they happen to be doing to come over and try to pick that person off the floor, which is that's a person not advancing the game, not putting boons down, not doing a gen. That person has to devote themselves to saving the person that just got slugged on the ground. So that's time saved for you as killer, and time is the name of the game. Now for you on the killer side, by not having to go through the whole process of picking somebody up, walking them over, and hooking them, that is also time saved directly. If you down somebody and you see somebody nearby that's very easily able to be chased, you can just go engage in that chase right away. You can go right after them, start that chase, and save that time, create a little bit of pressure by forcing somebody else off another objective in the distance, and create a whole lot of pressure just by trying to not hook a person. However, despite its effectiveness that it provides for the killer, it's also probably the most survivor-friendly, sweaty, quote-unquote sweaty, killer tactic that a killer can use. By nature, it's quite literally giving the survivors a chance to pick someone off the floor. Sure, it's a time waster for you to have to come and get them, but like quite literally saving an entire hook state from happening in a match where hook states lead towards death is a very important and helpful thing for the team. Sure, you're wasting time, and time's the name of the game, but that person is one step less away from dying than before, as opposed to something like tunneling or camping, which is kind of enforcing those extra hook states. The main complaint I do see when it comes to slugging is that it's boring. And if I had $1 for every time somebody in DBD said something was boring, I'd be a billionaire. Yeah, sure, it's not the most entertaining thing to be left on the ground, but compared to camping or tunneling, you kind of have the most agency you have compared to any of the sweaty killer tactics. You can go to the corner and hope you can wiggle out. You can stay on the floor and fully recover and hope somebody picks you up. You can crawl under a pallet and hope for a pallet save. There's a lot of agency that you have compared to the camping and tunneling, which where you have little to no input, and you have a lot of options that you can do while you're slugged instead of just, sitting there. And unlike camping and tunneling, you actually have a lot of perks dedicated to preventing this playstyle, whereas camping and tunneling does not have so much. You have Unbreakable, you have Soul Guard, you have Tenacity, you have Boil Over now. Boil Over is great in tandem with being slugged and crawling to the corner away from a hook, because if you have Boil Over and you crawl super far away from the known hooks, you can feasibly wiggle off. So you have more agency in this position than you do in any other quote-unquote sweaty killer tactic that is used in the game. You have more agency with you than anything else in the game. I don't know, I just want to make this video today because whenever somebody complains about camping and tunneling, I can at the very least go like, hey, I can see why that's frustrating. I can see why that's annoying. However, when people complain about slugging, it usually boils down to, oh, well, I'm bored, or that killer's being really sweaty. And I'm going to tell you something. If you see those things as ultra boring, and you see that thing as the killer being super duper sweaty and ruining your time, if those things go out of their way to ruin your time, and those get under your skin that easily, I don't think you so much have a problem with slugging as a tactic. I think you more so have a problem with the way DBD is and the way the DBD is played. If you feel like somebody being boring for a short period of time or being sweaty for a short period of time literally ruins you entirely and makes you so upset that you're just donezo, I feel like that's more of a problem with DBD, the game, and not so much this very oddly specific tactic. But yeah, that's it for today's video, friends. What do you feel about slugging? Do you feel like it's a fun, helpful tactic, or do you find it annoying when you're facing it as Survivor? Let me know down in the comments below. But other than that, I have everything else for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. But if I don't, I will see you when I see you, friends. Goodbye.